How you doing? My name is Lucas. The sun is out. I'm happy as a clam. And I don't know if that is even a saying, but I'm saying it. And I want to talk about meaning today because I think a lot of people lack meaning in their lives. And I've recently watched a lot of material on this topic from people like John Vervaeke and Jordan Peterson. And it got me thinking about where do I actually experience meaning in life, because I do feel like I have a very meaningful life. I just experience a lot of purpose. So I analyzed my own life and I made a short list of things that I want to share with you today, because I think that's very valuable to a lot of people, because a lot of people lack meaning, like I said, and they desire more meaning and more purpose. So please enjoy this video where I talk about that list. I cannot believe my battery right now. I just started at 50% and made a couple of videos, a couple of bad takes, and I'm down at 18% right now. But I charged it for a little bit and now I'm at 24. Completely irrelevant. But I took this receipt from the supermarket and I wrote down my list of things, and I want to touch each and every one of them briefly. First of all, exercise. When I exercise and shit gets tough, I experience so much purpose because I try to look at myself from a different perspective, like I'm in some movie sequence, like a Rocky sequence, where I'm moving toward a goal. You know, the exercise is part of a desire to improve, and that is very meaningful. Like there's a goal at the end, and going through this pain is completely worth it because of that. You're moving toward a higher ideal. So that's one. Second one that I think a lot of people can relate to is music. Listening to inspirational music gives me a lot of purpose. It gives me enjoyment as well, but I think the reason music can be so meaningful is because it makes you feel like you're you're in a video clip of a, you're in a movie basically. Like same with the exercise, you're looking at yourself through a different lens, and for some reason it just feels very meaningful. I find it hard, I'm noticing right now, to really explain this, but you can all relate to this. Music is very meaningful. And I think also because if you go to a concert, for example, with a lot of people and you're all experiencing the same music deeply, it's like a religious experience. It is deeply religious and profound, and for some reason that's very meaningful. And I think that's also the reason why we lack a lot of meaning, because, you know, up until recently, people would go to religious gatherings every week, church, for example, and they would sing together and they would experience religious experiences. They would experience a lot of meaning from that. Why that is exactly, I struggle to attach words to it, but you know, if you want to experience more meaning, listen to the music that you find deeply meaningful. Create music yourself. It's also a way of finding meaning because it's self-improvement and it's moving toward a higher ideal that is deeply meaningful. So yeah, music. Third one is meaningful conversations. I get to these conversations by really talking about ideas. You know, Gad Saad, he's a writer. He, author, writer, whatever. He talked about in his book that there's 3 levels of conversation and there's 3 levels of friends, really. You have the types of conversations that talk about people, that's level 1. You have the types of conversation that talk about things, level 2. And you have the third one that's the most meaningful, and that's talking about ideas. And that's the types of conversations you have with people that are really good friends of yours, because if you can talk about ideas, you can talk about anything. And when I talk about ideas, when I talk about philosophical ideas, again, it's like a perspective change. You enter into a different mode of being, and I don't know, I think it moves you out of the regular sequence of life. It moves you into a mode of being that is just more meaningful, more purposeful. Like you're operating on a longer time scale, and for some reason that is very meaningful. And I'm looking for a theme in these different things that I wrote down, and I think what's common amongst them is that they're all different perspectives and that they're all looking at life through a different lens and looking at life through moving towards something. Like when I talk about ideas, philosophical ideas, I'm really talking about the future. Usually, I'm really talking about um, ways in which we can apply these ideas to life to improve life. So maybe it's improvement, maybe it's the exercise, the music, maybe it's moving towards something better. And that ties into my next one, and that is self-improvement in general, because I notice that when I read, when I learn a language, when I do something that is a process, I self-improve, that feels very meaningful. You're moving toward a higher ideal. And for a lot of religious people, that they're moving toward the ideal of Jesus or the Buddha or God or whatever. But you can do this yourself without religion if you want to, and you can just improve yourself, look at your own potential, and move toward that. If you keep moving toward that, that just feels very meaningful. All right, so where are we at right now? Okay, acting from love is a big one for me. It's getting kind of warm, actually. I'm moving to the shadow for a little bit. Acting from love is a big one. When I act from love and I talk from love and I really treat people with love, that feels meaningful because I feel like I'm doing, I don't want to sound cliche, but it's like you're doing God's work. I'm using these terms because I don't really have any better terms for it. I'm being the best person I can be, and that feels meaningful to me, and I think you can understand why. Then I can also find meaning in work because, again, it is a way of moving towards something better. And there's obviously meaningless work. If you're doing something and you're not behind that, then I understand that it's meaningless to you. But wherever you're working, you can create a meaningful environment by trying to be better. Again, self-improvement. And that ties me into the last one. And this is also Jordan Peterson's idea. He states that responsibility is deeply meaningful. Responsibility. And I thought about this for a while, and I think he's completely right. I think every form of responsibility you take on that is realistic is very meaningful. So in your own life, how can you apply this? Take on responsibility for yourself, for your health, for your family. Make it realistic, but make it meaningful, and it's always meaningful. Just don't make it too much. And I think that's about it for today. I think you have a lot of material to work with after I talked about my list today. And I hope you got something out of this. I certainly did. I learned from this list myself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can like this video. I hope my phone didn't die just now. I really hope that. And if you could subscribe, that'd be great. So have a great day. Goodbye.